All right. Okay, thanks everybody for coming. If you haven't been to a training before, I do these once a month in January, February, March, and April. And I try to make the topics something that I've heard people are interested in. I ask educators, sometimes people email me, or if we have situations of things that happen, we try to make them as timely as possible. And so obviously this training, a similar one we did back in March of or April of 2020, which was probably a little bit more timely, but I know everybody's situation is different as far as how they're engaging young people in their counties based on county rules and regulations. So I think it's always great to have some additional tools in your back pocket nowadays to be able to engage young people with technology. I also want to preface that I am not an expert. A lot of the things I tried out this week to see if I like them, and actually I have a couple that I want to use in my personal life. So I'm kind of excited to share those different new techniques with you. But I really appreciate if anybody has some great ideas, if you want to share them, please do, because you are probably working with kids more than I am. I tend to work with my children and adults in 4-H. And so I just don't have a ton of experience having to do this kind of stuff. So I would love for anything that you've worked on or done either in your 4-H world or your personal or professional world that you can share too. So, okay, let me see if I can. Oh, whoops. Oh my goodness. It went way too fast. I also have terrible internet at home, so we'll see how this is going to go. Okay, so what we're going to cover tonight is I want to show you some tools that are already out there. I will be the first to admit that Wyoming is a small state, which means we have a really small state staff. Most of you have met Warren. He's the youth development specialist. There's myself, I'm the volunteer development specialist, and then we have Jonathan, who's our program leader. A lot of other states have 10s, 20 people that work in their state office, and so they have a lot more time and resources to be able to create some of this stuff. So there's some great things out there that I want to show you that you can use, so that way we don't have to reinvent the wheel here in Wyoming. I'm going to give you some suggestions about some things we can do to keep kids engaged, some things that I think sound pretty fun, and maybe you could see as being fun also. Maybe talk about some alternatives to technology, and then I want to make sure that you take some time to share what works for you. So 4-H is virtual everywhere. We're actually super lucky in Wyoming because it's probably the least virtual of any state in the United States. We're actually getting to meet in person. We had county fairs, we had a state fair. When I tell my colleagues we had a state fair, they think I'm crazy because a lot of places 4-H is shut down and is completely virtual. So that's why probably other states are creating a lot better resources than we are here. And so if we can use them, that would be great. So I want to show you a couple of things that I found that I thought were really good and well done. So if you're looking for specific things, I'm going to show you what I found, and then you can know where to get them. You don't have to write down the web links or anything. I will post, I have a Word document with every single web link I'm going to talk about tonight. So don't feel like you need to take notes about that kind of stuff, because I'm going to post that on our website tomorrow as a big conglomeration of what we found. So don't have to write down specific, like any URLs or anything. I will make sure that that happens. The other thing that's a little tricky is Zoom doesn't like to go outside of PowerPoint when you're inside of it. So I'm going to have to stop sharing every time I want to show you something new. So just bear with me as I try to figure all of the logistics out for Zoom. So the first thing that was on there was the main website. So I'm going to go to the main website. Here we go. Open. Okay, and then I'm going to share that with all of you, if I can find it. See, this is what I said. It's a very interesting deal over here. Usually I have 2 computer screens up, and that tends to make life a little bit easier, but I'm at home today, so I just have one. Okay, here it is, and then we'll share it. Are you seeing plugged in for Maine? Thumbs up, Katie or Carrie, if that's what you're saying. Okay, great. Okay, so this is the Maine, created some really great tools specifically for volunteers, especially if you have a limited knowledge of Zoom. They have some great stuff. I know somebody had emailed me and said, I don't really even get Zoom. And so Maine is the place to go. So if you come down here, they have some tips for virtual club meetings, how to do icebreakers, how to do judging workshops, and how to do skill-a-thons. And so they're going to give you step-by-step tools, and they have some great videos. So the one I clicked on yesterday was the judging workshop. And so, see, like I said, my internet is great. So we'll see how this works out. Should have tested it beforehand, but I was hoping it would work for me. Yep, there it goes. Okay. And then as you go down, you can see here they have how to create a Zoom meeting, and there's a tutorial about it. And then they have how to share your Zoom screen, and there's a tutorial about it. How to use the whiteboard, a tutorial about it. How to use the chat box. And so if you're like needing, if you're needing some Zoom help, this is probably the best website I've found for the basics. They also tell you how you can add a poll. So if you've never done a polling, it talks about how you can add a poll. So each one of the things that you click on has some basics, and then it talks about how you can do judging classes specifically, and it actually even gives you some examples so that you don't have to recreate them. So if you're looking for some easy resources about basic kind of stuff, this would be a great place to go. So the other one that I thought was pretty good was this icebreakers, because I think that's the one thing that I struggle with is how do we engage kids versus me just talking to them. I know that's often hard. So the icebreaker one also has some, this is where the one on how to create a poll in Zoom is. So adding poll questions to Zoom, playing pick a number. So basically you have the kids pick a number in the chat box before you put this up, and then you put up the things, and then they have to share whichever number they pick. So it's kind of like that when you pick the card when you're face to face, or when you pick the Skittles and you have to use the color to talk about what your favorite thing is. So here they're just picking a number, and then you're going to put that up. There's the ball toss. I think I talk about that a little bit later, but with this one, you take an old soccer ball or a beach ball and you write questions on it. You can actually buy these too, like what's your favorite color, you know, who's inspired you and why, and then you as the leader can toss the ball in the air and catch it in front of them, and wherever your thumb lands, whatever question that is, they would have to answer the question. So I think a lot of these I have in a different slide that I'm going to talk about. So, but I just wanted to show you that Maine does have some great resources. If you feel like you need some more Zoom help, I feel like sometimes I should watch them. This is a great place to go and get those tutorials that are already done, and they're done specifically for 4-H volunteers. Okay, so I'm going to close up Maine. I'm going to go to the next one, which was the Purdue website.
Sarah.
Yes.
So when you're clicking on your links and stuff, all we're getting to see is your resources and tips for volunteers sheet.
Okay. What are you seeing now?
I'm still seeing your resources and tips for volunteers.
Thank you for letting me know. I'll fix that. Okay. There we go. Now you should see the Purdue website with the green microphone. Perfect. Okay. I'll just remember I have to reshare every time I do this. Okay. So Purdue has worked to create some stuff that really talks more about what to do specifically at meetings. So if you go down here, there's some, you know, basic stuff about engaging youth and some, but I don't really know that that's really anything that I would suggest that you look for. However, we go down a little bit farther, they also have a Zoom tutorial here that you can check out. And then they have a Facebook Live tutorial, but this is the part that I think is probably the most exciting. And I'm going to visit some of these sites, but they have more icebreaker scavenger hunt, some contests they put together. Michelle Cummings is a really well-known team building instructor. She's like, people enjoy her books and things that she does, and she has a great way to engage people. They also have a club that set up their week Zoom. And so from Indiana, which is where Purdue is. And so they have some things you can just take and you can replicate. So if you wanted to have a Taco Tuesday with your club, they have everything ready here where the kids can get the supplies ahead of time, and then you can teach them online how to engage in making that. And there's one about making churros, some citizenship. And so there's just some basic stuff here that can help you if you're looking or struggling for some ideas. This is probably not my favorite one, but I think that there's some things that we can use here, and it's going to link you to some other sites that might be interesting. Okay, I'm going to go to the next one, which is the Iowa one. And Iowa is similar to Purdue in that it kind of pulled together a bunch of different websites or other states and what they're doing. Okay, so you should see the Iowa State page now. And if you go down here, they have some, this is the next one we're gonna look at, is this living room learning series from Nebraska. Nebraska has some great stuff, but they also have other things that they found and things that Iowa is working on. So you may see this project area hot sheets. We have those in Wyoming already. So if you're looking for ways to engage young people at a greater level, I can show you where those are at the end on our website, but these are just some ways that you can, and they have them all broken down into categories. So that way, if you're looking for a specific category with some extra resources, it's going to give you some of those here. Okay, and then the next one is Nebraska has some learning at home. And so this is the one that I think can be done. This whole idea of learning at home can be done in a couple of different ways. So let me share this screen. Okay, so if you think about this, they have, and I tried to sign up for these, and you can. So even if you don't live in Nebraska, you can sign up for these. So if you go on this career chat and you have a young person who's 6th to 9th grade, I think if they're a little younger or older that you could allow them to go, but I signed up to go to the diesel mechanic one. Maybe it's over already. I signed up like 2 days ago, but basically they're going to tell you what the topic is, and then you just go here and you click on it and you can register to be part of their link. So these look like there's only one left, but I registered and I was able to register to be able to talk about different careers. So that's a cool thing that they already are doing. I look like these dates are a little outdated, but I know that I registered for one that was happening. So maybe we just need to go to a different page. Whoops. Okay. They also have this living room learning series and virtual field trips. Oh, this is maybe what I signed up for. I think I signed up for a virtual field trip, and I think I was going to go to a diesel mechanic shop, if I remember correctly. Yep. So Discover Diesel, this is the one that I picked. And so if you have a kid who's interested in any of the stuff that's listed here, you can send them here and they can sign up to be part of this, and then they'll send you a link to join them if they're available, or I'm sure they could, you as adult could join and you could share it, or they might be able to record it for you if you're looking, because it looks like some of the dates might be when our kids are in school. So it kind of probably just depends on what your kids are doing. And then they also have other options, which are here, these self-paced ones where you can just sign up for them individually and then go through them. Similarly, the National 4-H Council has a very similar option for you that I think is even more engaging. Okay. And this one I like because it's searchable. So if you see this, you can go down and you can view all the hands-on activities that are part of it, and you can search by grade and topic. So the other day, I put in that I wanted to learn about creative arts. So I went down here and I clicked on creative arts, and I didn't care what grade, I just picked on all grade levels, and then I searched. And they are working with lots of national partners to put together some workshops. So here, if you were a sewing leader, you could do this drawstring bag. And you click on the view item, it takes you right there. It gives you all the supplies that you're going to need, how long it's going to take, and then it gives you step by step. So this can be done one of two ways. You can send your kids to the site, you could print this off for them, or I think the coolest way to do this would be either you or a group of people collect the materials, put them in kits. Maybe your extension office would work with you on this, and then have people either come and get them or distribute them to people, and then they could actually learn from their homes, and you could do a Zoom or a Facebook Live where you went through the step-by-step. So everybody could work together to cut out the rectangular fabric. You could all do together, people could show you how they're doing it. And that way it's engaging rather than them just going to this website and picking it up. But there are probably over 100 different activities related to almost every project written out so that you could have young people make different things depending on what project you want to focus on. And like I said, I really like this site because it's searchable, so you don't have to try to weed through everything. You can just write the things that you're interested in doing. And then lastly, I think it's important to note that we have a website too, but it doesn't have maybe the things that are. So can you see the Wyoming 4-H page, or do I need to? Okay, perfect. Okay, so I want to show you what we've got going on. So we have created this page under opportunities. So if you click there, there's going to be this one called animals, and there's also going to be one called project learning. So both of these are going to have things that are currently happening in Wyoming that anybody in the state is invited to. So most of them are going to be virtual, some of them might not be. So if you click on project learning, it's only as good as our educators populate it. So if you are going to offer a training that anybody could come to in the whole state, let your educator know, and they have access to put anything on this site. So if you look on this week, on Tuesday, it started the 2nd and ends June 16th. Every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., there's a Zoom that goes through Fabric and Fashion, and it has a list of exactly what they're doing. So if you're interested in Fabric and Fashion, you can join this Zoom group on Wednesday. And I think this Wednesday they're talking about bindmanship. So the Rocky Mountain, this would be Albany County, Niobrara County, and Natrona County got a grant to do a youth entrepreneurship series. And so all the information about that series is listed here. So you could go and you could figure out how to join them, and it would have the information to be able to be part of that group. And so it looks like right now, those are the only 2 things that are coming up related to non-animal projects. Once again, it's only as good as our educators populate it. So if you know of other things, encourage them to put that up there. Same thing for animals. This one's a little more extensive, but if you click on this workshops, clinics, and camps up here, you're going to see that coming up, there should be this virtual poultry group. So if you have kids interested in poultry, they can get on here and they can join a whole bunch of other kids from throughout Wyoming. And even, I think they have 10 or 15 kids from throughout the United States that are talking about poultry. So it's a great way for them to engage. There's a Hippology Academy coming on that Nebraska's offering. But this should, and there's that entrepreneurship series again, because it could be either for animal related or non-animal related projects. But you can see this is on here all the time. So even opportunities that are face-to-face are also listed here. So many people didn't know this exists. So if you're going to host a shooting sports clinic in Platte County, let Stacy know and she can put it up there. If you guys are going to host something up in Park County, let Ticey know and she can put it on here. So that way we can let the whole world, if it's something you're willing to invite the world to, we can put it on here and let people know what's happening. And so that includes those animal opportunities, and then this other one that is those non-animal opportunities. So you can see there's different categories you can put those in. So super easy for your 4-H educator or the administrative assistant in your office to do those. Okay, then I also talked about other stuff that you might want to look at. So if you're looking for things to do related to projects within your group, every project, and if you've seen me teach before, I probably talk about this all the time. Every project has its own little site, and within every project is this project information sheet. So if you click on those, they all look the same. They all start out to tell you what the project's about. And then these bullets, we're starting out, learning more, and going further, are all about the curriculum that's provided for that project. So we take specific key elements from the curriculum and put them there. So that way, if a kid doesn't have a project leader, they would know what they could learn on their own. From there, it goes down and it's going to have a way to take it further. So what else can you do besides the normal things that maybe your leader is doing? So as a leader, this is a great way for you to get some extra ideas. So it talks about tours you can take or interviews, different ways you can take field trips, stuff like that. And then it has a whole list of ideas for maybe the non-traditional type of exhibits, because many people think of Fabric and Fashion, they think they have to make an item. There's lots of other things you can do. So it has a whole other list of things you can do. And then on everyone, it also talks about how you can use that project to enhance your communication skills, how you can use that project for citizenship and service, and how you can use that project for leadership. So if you're kind of stuck and you're teaching a project and you just are kind of out of ideas, or you've always done the same thing over and over again, use these to step outside of your comfort zone, or allow your kids to, so that way they can really think about other things or how they can take it further than maybe the normal of what we always think about. So those are some things on our website that maybe may help you technology wise. And some of them aren't specifically technology, so they may not help either, but at least they give you some new ideas to think about. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about, so that kind of goes through all these where virtual things are already listed. And like I said, I'll put up my Word document tomorrow so you can get all those links if you're looking for them. Advanced, okay. So what should you use if you're going to do this stuff? I think that really Zoom is probably the most recognized and easiestly accessed way to have meetings when you're not able to meet face to face. You could use GoToMeetings, you could use Google Hangouts. Right now, Microsoft Teams is another one, but I really think most kids, most classrooms, most adults are using Zoom. So I would highly suggest using Zoom. Obviously you're on here, so you probably at least know how to engage, but it allows kids to call in, it allows them to do other things. And so Zoom is just really the easiest thing to do. You can also do Facebook Live. Facebook Live is when you're not looking for as much interaction. So if you want people to answer questions or you want them to be part of a chat, you want to do some breakout rooms, things like that, you really want to look at doing Zoom. But if you just want to kind of do some presenting or have people like it or engage that way, Facebook Live works. If anybody has not used Facebook Live or has questions about that, if you can let me know in the chat box, I can show you how to do a Facebook Live. It's pretty super simple if you have Facebook. The other option is YouTube. So I was talking before about that drawstring bag and the option of doing a Zoom with kids. You could also do a YouTube video where you would record yourself going through and making that drawstring bag, posting it to YouTube, which is free, and then sharing the YouTube link with people. And the reason that might be a better way to do something like that is because then kids can press pause if they're behind and you're not having to wait for a kid who might not have the sharpest scissors or who's having issues threading their sewing machine or that kind of thing. And so YouTube might be a way to teach a project where they can actually see your face, they can hear you talking to them, they can see you doing the objects, but in turn they can pause and they can go back in case they forgot a step or missed a step. So it's maybe a good way to do those kind of things. Does anybody else have other online platforms or things that they've used to do 4-H meetings or 4-H project activities that aren't face-to-face? Because I would be really interested to know what any of those might be. Legit. So I would agree. I think Zoom, Facebook Live, Zoom is really kind of the way to go. But now I want to talk about my favorite part of this whole ordeal is that we can really have some fun. And so I learned some really cool new things that I never knew about by having to prepare this. And so I think there's some really cool ones that you could use if you want to go above and beyond that can integrate with Zoom or can be used outside of the meeting. And so I have to stop sharing again so I can show you this stuff. But my new favorite, I think, is the first two I'm going to show you. One is called the Flipgrid. Just have to open it here. And you have to create your own profile with each one of these. But it's pretty easy. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, so this is where you get to when it looks like this Flipgrid does. And I have a Google account, so I just log in using my Google account. It logs me in. Okay, and so Flipgrid is kind of like a way to record your answers to questions. So you as a club leader or as a project leader can post a question that says, like if it's shooting sports, you can say, how are you practicing in the next 2 weeks? Or what are you finding the most challenging about hitting your target? And I just chose what makes you smile. And then the kids, you can share this code with them. They can go in and they can respond to whatever question you post, and they respond with a video or with just a recording or a text. And so there's one response, it's mine, to this thing, and let's see if we can view it. So my question is, what makes you smile? Okay, maybe you get to listen to me now. So what makes me smile is when I get to see people learning new things, like being able to use Flipgrid. So glad you're here. So there's a way that you can go and you can engage people by doing something where they can go and answer a question and they can go and watch each other to see what kind of things they may have learned. And so I think this would be a super fun way to take, like, kind of like to do a roll call or to check in on your members or to maybe enhance some skills, ask them how they're doing different things. I think that would be kind of fun. So this next one is called VoiceThread. And this one I think is super cool. And I can see us using this to have kids do their very own demonstrations online. Okay, so I'm going to sign in here to VoiceThread with an email that I already created. I think. Thought I signed in with Google, but let's hope this works. Yep, okay. So I did one of my daughter and her cake decorating. So, and I'll show you how to create it, but I'm gonna show you what I did. So it has pictures and then you go through and you talk about the pictures.
Cake decorating is one of my favorite projects. I entered cake decorating at Showcase Showdown. Our theme for this year was to make a cake featuring somewhere we wanted to visit. You may not be able to tell by this picture, but I'm creating the Eiffel Tower because visiting Paris is the one thing I really want to do. We did pretty well in cake decorating. I got reserve champion or second place overall in my age division. I carried on my cake decorating skills to the county fair. I decided to make a sheep cake because sheep is my other favorite project in the 4-H program. To make the sheep cake, I had to dye my frosting using tea, so it was a little bit brown, just like a sheep's or a lamb's wool. Here I'm using the swirl technique to make the wool effect. Here's my finished cake. It got to go to the Wyoming State Fair. It was a lot of fun and I'm looking forward to cake decorating next year.
So I was telling my husband about this is the one I'm most excited about. I really think that this could be a cool way for us to engage young people in recording stuff. So I was going to show you how I did this. So basically you go back and you click on this create. It's that simple. And then you add media, which I already did because I didn't want to have to pull in the pictures for you. So basically you just click on that ad and it puts pictures in here for you. So I have to edit this one. Whoops, I don't want to share that, sorry. You can only see half my screen because all of your beautiful faces on the other half, so I have to be careful to try to figure out how to do this. Okay, so to edit it, it looks at all the pictures there in front of you, and then you can move them around super easily by putting them back and forth. So she did wool judging to start her sheep project, she learned to shear, she went to a prospect show, and then she washed her sheep, and then she went to the county fair. And so that's all you have to do. And then once that's done, you press comment, and you go through and you can use this little microphone and you can record, or the kid, obviously I did this today for her because she wasn't home, but your kid can record their voice to basically do, I really think in my brain, this would be a cool record book way to do record books because how fun would that be? But I don't know that I'll win that battle. So for now, I think it'd be a great way to do your demonstrations at your club meeting. Then what's super cool, even better, is once they're there, you can actually go back and you can comment on them. So I was looking today at this one this kid did about his trip to Washington, D.C. So this you could do with your 4-H club meeting if they had this one is for everybody, but basically this kid, let me start here. So this kid posts about his trip to DC.
This voice thread is about my experiences in Washington, D.C. in March 2008. First, I got.
So then once that's done, then what happened is people can go through and they can tell him what they think about his video. So you could have kids respond to the things that other kids or that you wrote as a leader. Maybe you want to find out their input on what kind of community service should we do this month, and you could post a video of yourself saying, hey guys, here's some things we did last year. What kind of stuff do you want to do this year? And then this is what can happen.
Hi, Alexander. My name is Mrs. Navas, and I live in Hong Kong. And when I was your age, I went from the United States to the Philippines.
So as you can see, people can respond with you with either videos or with voice comments, I think it's a little bit more engaging than texting, and it maybe get our kids talking more, things that we're not doing. So I found this one. I'm super excited to use it. I think our club may do it, even though we're meeting face to face. I think this would be a super cool one to get kids engaged in. And someone had said their schools are using some of these. I'm going to encourage my husband to use this because I think this one could be a great one. Probably my biggest find of the week. So thank you for coming because I got to prepare this and learn all about VoiceThread. So I'm super excited. Okay, some other ones that maybe you could use. There's this one called Menti, which is a way, and maybe some of you have used this. I've heard of Menti a few times, but I don't know a ton about it. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. Oh, maybe here. So once again, I think I logged in with Facebook to this one. You have to create an account. I did not. Okay. Maybe it doesn't like me. Okay. If this doesn't work, I logged in at a different, it says false, makes me nervous. I logged in with it. Maybe I'm already in here. Never works when you want it to, right? Isn't that how technology is? Okay. Why is it not working? Well, let's just do this. So this is how you get started. If you've never done a Menti, you have to go to this page and enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in order to get an account. So we can do this together. And then it asks you a question. That's what Menti is. It's a way for you to engage asking questions. So you get to pick who the best person in the whole world is. I'm going to go with Wonder Woman. And you can see that I've participated and now I can sign up for Menti. And you can actually see the results and see who voted for Wonder Woman and who voted for Princess Leia. So then you go here and I swear that I just used, now maybe it'll work. It's not working. So anyways, this actually allows you to create some polls, and the next one I'm going to show you will actually do about the same thing. So I'm not super worried that we're not able to get into this one. So Menti is one you can use to do exactly what I'm going to do with the next one. So let me pull that one up. It's called Poll Everywhere. See how this goes. All right. I think it's because I am not using Chrome because that's not my default browser, but we'll try this anyways. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. Let's see. Okay, so this is Poll Everywhere. Same thing, you need to log in. So I'm already logged in because I was using this before, and you click on the activities box and that's how you get to stuff. And it's going to allow you to create a new activity. So that's where you click on new activity. And the activities you can create are a multiple choice questionnaire, a word cloud, which I think that one sounds the most fun, because what you can do is you can ask kids a question and then they type in the words that the question is a question, and then it's going to make a word cloud of all the words they did. You can do a thumbs up, thumbs down. They can click on an image. They can do a survey, open-ended question, a competition. So there's different things you can do, and they're super easy to create. So if you do a word cloud, it could be like, what do you like about 4H? And then you create it. And what happens then is that people have to either have a cell phone or they can go on their computer. They can, you guys are more than welcome to, if you want to engage in this, you can, but basically I just need to activate it. And then you can go to pollev.com and click on, or basically just copy that link, Sarah Torbert 399, and then you can type in words that you like about 4-H. And then it will respond. So I can go to a different, I'm gonna see if I could do it on my cell phone. So if you text Sarah Torbert 399, oh, hang on. So you text 37607, and then in the body you put Sarah Torbert. Hopefully there's a way you can make that much smaller than your whole name, but at least. And then 399. Let's see if it works. Nope, it didn't tell me anything. Oh, there you go. It says you've joined my thing. When you're done, reply, leave. And so then you can text what I like about 4-H, and I can write friends, and we'll see if it works. Look at, and there it pops up. And so if you all did that too, and you had like 10 people doing it, it would pop up all the different words that people said, and you could write more stuff. You could write fun. Just excited this is working. Oh, someone wrote learning. That wasn't me. So good job, whoever joined in. And so it'll just create a word cloud with all the different things that the kids are saying, and you can show that to them while they're working on it. So it was that simple. We just did it while we were sitting here. And so as long as the kids have a cell phone or they have access to their computer, they could copy and paste that or copy that thing. And Menti's a little bit different. It's almost exactly the same, except for you just go to menti.com and you enter a code, and then you type in the answers to the questions. So both of those are similar though, but you can ask them a poll, or you could say, you know, we're gonna do, these are our 4 options for community service. Which one do you wanna do? And then they could pick it, and that way you could do that versus having the voting. You could just have 4 ideas that they already came up with, and they could pick what they wanna do for their community service for that month. So that's an easy one to be able to use. And it, like I said, we did it while we were sitting here on the computer. So you know that it's super, pretty simple to set up. Okay. All right. And then I'm gonna go back. And then Kahoot is the next one that I have listed. That one's a pretty popular one that I know, especially Amber in Washakie County is using pretty often. So this is what the Kahoot game screen looks like. So this is the screen your kids will see. You'll have to create a Kahoot and give them a game pin to put in there. And so to create a Kahoot, you are considered a teacher. So feel free to consider yourself a teacher. That's what you do. And your screen will look like this. And so here's where you can go to create a Kahoot. And a Kahoot is basically like just a quiz. So it can be a fun quiz, it can be a serious quiz. You could do it about a project area, you could do it about 4-H trivia. But here there's one that's already created, the family fun quiz. And so what does mom drink in the morning, tea or coffee? So you could even do stuff about your officers, like be a fun way to get to know the kids in your club. You could have each one of them answer a question, and then people could guess which one it is. So it could kind of be like a learning experience for all of you. You just basically create this, and then when you're done, it'll generate that code. The kids will put it in, and they'll go in and they'll answer questions related to that. So yes, and someone wrote that their teachers in K-12 uses a lot. I agree. This is like a pretty popular app that's used all the time. My kids are always like, hey, we have to bring our cell phone to school because we're going to do a Kahoot. So it's a pretty common thing that people use. But just to know that you can use it too. It's pretty easy. And you decide as a teacher, and you get a few things for free. If you want to get really advanced and use it often, you may have to pay for a subscription. I know some of our counties pay for subscriptions, but there is a free part. Like all what I'm doing is currently free. I didn't pay for anything. So, okay. So I think that might be the end of, okay, then I just wrote, does anybody have any other ideas of things that they've used? I know that we had a couple other ideas in some trainings I've done, but these were the ones I thought were kind of fun, that were a little bit different, or things your kids are using in school when they're doing virtual stuff, or even when they're face-to-face. Feel free to share those with us, because I'd love to hear other things that you know about that maybe weren't part of the research that I did over the past couple of weeks to get ready for today. Okay, feel free to share those in the chat box or let us know them. You can always share them at the end too. So the other thing that I think is important to do when you're engaging kids online is to have fun. So the scavenger hunt is the popular one at our house. It drives me as a mom crazy because I have a little bit of OCD. And so when my kids are running around the house, grabbing random stuff and throwing things everywhere, I get a little nervous. So I think one was like a utensil. So my kids are like running out of their rooms and grabbing forks out of the drawer and throwing things all over the place. But it can be kind of fun. So you could say, have a list of 10 things they have to find. And so they have to run around their house, get it, bring it back, show it to you, and then they get a point if they win that. So that's an easy one you can do in Zoom. You can prep the kids ahead of time and tell them that you're going to do a show and tell. It's always fun when your show and tell has a theme. So like show and tell this month has to be something that's green. And you could even do that in your regular 4-H meeting where you're face-to-face. A picture, have kids bring something every month to kind of share what they're doing. We talked about the ball toss already. You could play a game of charades. Can be really adventurous here, and I can so what you would do for charades is you would private chat someone. So I'm going to do this, and I private chatted Katie. She doesn't know it now. She's going to see it, and I told her to do something, and so we all have to try to guess what she's supposed to do. Let's see if she's paying attention. Do you see the private chat, Katie? Are you on your cell phone? Katie Kiernan. Oh, she's looking. Okay, so she's got a charade she's gonna do for us, and we all have to try to guess. You can either guess out loud or you can guess on your chat box. Do you see it? If you're looking for the chat box, you just scroll along the bottom and some stuff will pop up, and oh, there she is. Anybody guess what she's doing? Anybody guess what she's doing there? No one's thinking. I know what you're doing. Good job, Carrie guessed it. So that would be a fun way that you could play charades if you could just private message one, the rest of the group tries to guess. You can also do the Pictionary. And so for that one, you can actually allow your group to annotate or use the whiteboard. So they could do this. You could give each one of them the opportunity to do this part of it. And then you would have to guess what they're doing. Anybody know what this guy's doing? See how good my skills are.
He's singing.
Close.
Oh.
Dancing.
There we go, dancing. Good job. Thanks, people. Yes, he's dancing. So you can have the kids draw whatever you tell them to on there. Another one that I really thought was fun too is you can share your screen and share a word search, and then the kids can use the annotate to find the words and circle them while they're waiting for the meeting to start. And you can even have a theme word search. So go online and create your own word search that's related to the project or your club. You can have the kids find their own name inside a word search. Another one I learned about is what is that sound? So you could play a sound, a random one, and then have the kids try to guess what sound they're hearing. Today I learned about one called Zoomed In, where you find a picture, and this will work for 4-H projects because you could find pictures of things that you would use in a 4-H project, and you pull them up on the screen and really, really close, zoomed in, and then to try to guess what it is, and as they don't guess, you zoom out farther and farther and farther until they can see the whole picture. So that would be kind of a fun one and something you could do with your club members. You could even get pictures of your club members if you stalk their Facebook. You could download them. You could have pictures of them where you're zoomed in on their nose, and as you zoom out, they try to guess which club member it is. So there's some cool things that you can do to interact with kids through the Zoom functions or other things. This summer, I actually played categories with the kids. With Mary Louise and I played categories. So we pulled up the category lists. We scanned them into the computer, shared them. The kids wrote down their answers, and then we gave points to whatever kids didn't duplicate an answer. We'd roll the dice, and they could see us roll the dice. And so you can also play regular board games that you can pull into. Does anybody have any other things that they've done that have worked well, especially when we were not meeting at all face-to-face with young people and Zoom meetings to keep them engaged in what you're doing? Close my dancing guy. Okay. All right, if you have any, feel free to share those in the chat box or let us know what they are at the end too if you're thinking about them. Okay. Of course, course, oh, look, I don't know how to get this guy off here now. See, this is my problem. I don't, I erase. Clear, there we go. Okay. So I cleared all my drawings. There, you don't have to look at my dancing guy forever. So then you don't have to use technology. It's not a requirement, even though we can't always meet face to face. You can always kick it old school. I don't know if the Canon string thing will actually work. However, there are some things we can have our kids do to keep them engaged in 4-H while maybe they aren't allowed to see each other. Or this might even just be ideas you can use when you are allowed to see each other. Creating journals or scrapbooks about their projects or their activities will really help them with record book time. Maybe give them some time to reflect on the things that they're doing and have them maybe share a paragraph or a sentence from their journal with their 4-H club at a meeting, or via some of the different, like the Flipgrid or the VoiceThread would be awesome. You could have club pen pals, and this may work better to have club pen pals in different 4-H clubs. But if you're not able to get together at all, which really we're pretty lucky in Wyoming, for the most part, we've been able to kind of get together. They can write letters to each other about the things that they're doing in 4-H. They even talked about having a Zoom with another 4-H club so that they could share things that are working for them or things that they're doing. So Zoom really allows us to go beyond our borders. And you could engage with clubs in different states. You could engage with 4-H in a different country. The time zone may be a bit of a difference, but this has opened up some opportunities that we maybe didn't use before, because it's allowed us to really go beyond the norm of what we're used to. I think this is a really good, the third one's really good. Send some real mail, write a kid a letter, tell them how that you saw their picture, or that you wonder how they're doing, make sure they're okay. Yesterday, my 13-year-old daughter learned to address an envelope for the first time ever. I was a little shocked. She's like, can you teach me how to do that? Thinking, and for those who don't know, we've had our kids for 3 years. So I thought maybe before she came to live with us that she would have learned how to address the envelope. She did not. And so I think that our kids are really not used to real mail. And so this would be a great way to reinstate that idea of real mail and send them a letter, ask them to send you one back. Maybe even give each one of your kids a address stamp envelope to somebody else in the club and have them write a letter to the person in their club, and they could learn to write the address and stuff on there. You could give them to them on a piece of paper with a stamp on the envelope so that they don't have to go search for a stamp. Does anybody have any other things that they have used to make sure their kids are doing okay and to engage 4-H kids when we're not necessarily able to see each other all the time face to face, or not able to do the things the way we used to do them back when we were just being norm? All right, so I think that's kind of ends the things that I wanted to share with you that I know of. I'm still annotating. I don't know how to stop this. It's not very fun. See, this is the Zoom stuff that you learn, is how not to annotate. Or okay. I do have some more slide. There you go. So this is the chance for anybody to share any successes or things that have gone really well for them, or things that maybe haven't gone well for them using virtual 4-H experiences. And if you don't have any, that's great. And if you do, we'd love to hear from you.
Well, our educator just did this because we've started some of our shooting sports practices. So she created us on the Team app, a group, and we can get better notifications with cancellations due to weather and different things like that. And a lot of the parents are kind of utilizing that to keep up to date with kind of what we're doing with shooting sports and stuff, and with practices, so they know what's going on.
Awesome. I am going to pull up the Teams app for those of you who maybe haven't seen what it looks like. So Teams is kind of the Google/Facebook version that Microsoft has put out. And so you can download it to your cell phone, or you can download it to your computer, either one. It's probably a little bit like Remind, only it allows for some additional stuff going on. So to make sure I don't have any, let's see, I don't know how to get out of this. Before I show you my screen, I feel like I should, there, okay. Okay, here we go. I just have some chats that I've had with my boss, and I was like, oh, nobody probably needs to see what I've been saying left and right, you know? So I have to be careful what I was sharing here. Nothing terrible, but you know. Okay, trying to figure out how to share my screen here again. Okay, so the Teams app will open up and it will look like this. And I'll show you what the thing on the outside looks like. But basically it allows you to have a chat. You can do a calendar, which is what I'm guessing the activity is where you're putting your different meetings and stuff. And you can get notifications that way. You can actually call people using the Teams app. It has a calendar. And then you can upload files to Teams. And this is available to anybody. So you can go and you can add different files. So we utilize this pretty heavily within the 4-H program. It's kind of our new way to share files. So if we have stuff to share amongst the 4-H educators, we're using Teams. And so you can see this is what it looks like. And like I said, you can download it on your cell phone, or you can download it on your desktop. Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to share or anything they want me to show other people too? Okay, and then Hannah Hunter and Hayden Peterson, what county are you from? On Hannah's iPhone. Maybe she's typing it to me. All right, I think, and that my last slide just asks if anybody has any questions or wants me to go over anything specifically or something that you want to learn a little bit more about so that I can show those kind of things to you. I'd be more than willing to pull them up and kind of go over anything that maybe didn't make sense or that you want to review a little bit further. All right. If not, I want to thank everybody for joining me. I have all of your names down and I will get those to our administrative assistant. She'll put them into your file to show that you came to today's training. And you are always more than welcome to reach out to me at any time and I can help you with anything you needed related to volunteerism. And if I don't know the answer, that I'll find it. And you've all received emails from me, so feel free to email me back, or my phone number is usually in the emails. You can call me at any time too. And Marquita asked if I will be posting this. Yes, my goal is to post the recording, the PowerPoint, and also my Word document that has the links that I discussed today in it, so that way you can go and check out those links. Also, if you're looking for ways to engage. There's a couple other links on the sheet that I didn't get to, which I'm going to quick show you. I forgot about them, and there's some cool stuff on here too. So there is currently a group that is putting together a whole bunch of virtual escape rooms related to 4-H. So if your kids think that might be fun, there's actually a website where every single escape room that's being created related to 4-H, you can go there and send your kids to check it out. So this is what it looks like. I'm trying to move some stuff around so I can click OK. So you can go down, and right now they have 2 escape rooms, or one escape room and one's coming soon. There's the Clover Quest, and then Holidays Around the World is coming soon. They just started asking for people to create these, so my guess is this will populate a little bit further than what maybe is there right now, but it's a way for you to get your kids doing some stuff that maybe we don't have to create, we can do it differently. And then the other one that I thought was kind of cool is that a university also has a way to engage young people using social media. For me, I think that you're really engaging their parents, but it sounded kind of fun, so that might not be a terrible idea, because I hope that most of our kids aren't the 8-year-old on Facebook. But they have a weekly challenge here, and it's project related, and it's already created for you, so you don't have to do anything. But the first challenge is the photography project. Share a picture that represents your favorite activity that you're doing while staying home, or you can make it that you're doing this week. There's a healthy living, expressive arts, and so it just is a way for them to engage in 4-H projects on social media. And so I think there's 8 weeks. Oh, I lied. There's 10 weeks, and then you can come up with your own challenges after that. Or you don't have to use these, but at least it's out there and you don't have to recreate something. So those are the other 2 that were on my list that sounded pretty interesting that I thought I would share with everyone. So, all right. That is for real all I have. And so now I will actually stop recording so that I can, but I will post